Serving alongside the more usual 110 G2s was a new destroyer, although it bore more than a passing resemblance to the type that had sired it. Indeed, the Me 410, which entered production with Messerschmitt in January 1943, was in effect a revamped 210, with all of its many problems eliminated. Although the Schnellbomber was deemed to be the primary variant, the war situation saw the destroyer version acquire growing significance to the Luftwaffe. In its light bomber role, the 410 began to appear in some numbers over the Mediterranean and was also encountered and shot down over England. By year's end, 457 Me 410s had been delivered from the Augsburg factory, and production of a large number of field conversion kits saw it adapted to carry a variety of armament packages. Although a faster and more effective aircraft than the 110, it supplemented the earlier type rather than replaced it. Clearly, the older type still had an important role to play in the skies over Germany. The U-4 variant of the Me 410B2 saw a 50mm cannon derived from the Army PaK-38 anti-tank gun mounted in the weapons bay. One of the major weapons introduced onto Me 110 and Me 410's attacking bomber formations in 1943 was derived from the rocket launchers used by the Army. The 210mm version was an unguided weapon and carried a 47kg warhead to about 7,800 meters. Although the tubes affected the aerodynamics of both aircraft, increasing their drag and lowering their airspeed, this was deemed acceptable given their effectiveness in employing the rockets to break up US bomber formations. This then allowed the single-engined Me 109s and FW-190s to tear into the fray and shoot down the now less heavily protected B-17s and B-24s. Retaining the same bomb bay as the 210, the spacious compartment proved admirable for fitting of factory-supplied weapons containers. These permitted the type to carry an extra 2 20mm cannon in addition to the standard inbuilt armament. It also permitted the 410 to carry much heavier weapons. External ETC-50 shackles could also be fitted for the carriage of bombs. Armament comprised of 2 nose-mounted 20mm cannon and 2 7.92mm machine guns. The most interesting feature of the type's armament was carried over from the earlier Me 210 and employed 2 13mm MG131 machine guns in remotely controlled barbettes mounted on the side of the fuselage just below the rear of the canopy. These 2 guns were controlled and fired by a complex movement and sighting mechanism used by the rear gunner. While Me 410s operated in conjunction with the 110s, they also flew destroyer sorties alone. A quick-thinking US bomber crewman snapped this shot of a 50mm cannon-armed 410 pulling away from his aircraft after it had made a firing pass. Film of the Me 410 is not extensive, and this sequence shows one returning to its base, the pilot waggling his wings to show that he's scored a victory. This particular variant is a 410A2R2. 2 30mm cannons have been mounted in the bomb bay to give the plane extra firepower. As soon as the plane has stopped, the ground crew, or black men as they were nicknamed because of the colour of their overalls, first congratulate the pilot and gunner, then set to work to get the aircraft ready for its next sortie. Caught by the PK cameraman is a post-sortie meeting between the 410 Staffel commander and his men. Of interest is the atmosphere of joviality and the manner of the commander. While the tone of the whole sequence is decidedly triumphalist, a number of enemy bombers having just been shot down, it would be fascinating to gain some insight into the thoughts of these men, to see what they really felt at seeing so many US bombers streaming across Germany day after day, seemingly increasing in number irrespective of how many they are shooting down. Such meetings would not, however, continue much longer, as the fate of the destroyer Geschwaden in the opening months of 1944 was already sealed, with the increasing range now being given to US day fighters in England.